Hello, my name is Kunio, and for the next 5 to 8 minutes, I'll be having a very calm and casual conversation with you. Have you heard of the name Malala Yousafzai? If not, then let me tell you a little about her. She is a young female rights activist for female education, and she is also the youngest Nobel Peace Prize recipient at just the age of 17. She is a fantastic young woman, and she once said, "We realize the importance of our voice when we are silenced." I disagree with that statement though, because I believe that the importance of our voice can be realized even when we are not silenced, by simply interacting with the unheard, ignored and silenced members of society. I believe this is true because characters in both The Book Thief and Rabbit Proof Fence show sympathy towards silenced characters. These sympathetic characters help the main characters through their hardships and are very important in the fictional and non-fictional world. Another reason I disagree with Malala is that you can stand up for yourself, for silenced people, even if you're not silenced yourself. When you stand up for someone else, you need to know what it's like for them at a certain level, which means when you stand up for a silenced person, you understand the importance of your voice. The final reason I disagree with Malala's statement is because we realize a lot of important things just by interacting with people. The novel The Book Thief and film Rabbit Proof Fence are great examples, one showing that people can realize their own voice when interacting with the silenced people. In both The Book Thief and Rabbit Proof Fence, the main silenced characters receive sympathy and help from unsilenced characters. When a person is silenced, they are not commonly accepted and helped by unsilenced people. This causes a problem as people ignore the problems that silenced people face. However, in The Book Thief, a German soldier protects a Jew known as Max Vanderberg during the war. Walter Kugler is a friend of Max and hides him in a secret storage room to keep him alive. Walter, even though he's a soldier of the German army, he understands what Max is going through, as seen during the last conversation on page 171. "I'm sorry, Walter." Walter Kugler, Max's friend from childhood, placed his hand on Drew's shoulder. "It could be worse." He looked his friend in his Jewish eyes. "I could be you." Another case in which an unsilenced member of society helps a silenced member of society occurs in the film The Rabbit Proof Fence. 3 young Aboriginal girls are trying to find their way home after being kidnapped by the police. After they escape the settlement they are sent to, they are caught stealing food by a white woman. This woman had the chance to alert the authorities and punish the girls, but because she interacted with them, she decided to give them food and guide them home. These unsilenced characters are not in the same situation as the victims, but by learning, listening and lecturing themselves, they understand right from wrong and decide to aid our silenced characters. Although they are not powerful enough to end all the problems caused by the ignorance of others, they try to help the silenced characters in any way they can, and by doing so realize the importance of having a voice. The importance of having a voice can also be realized when we stand up for unsilenced people. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, when you stand up for someone, you first need to understand them. In The Book Thief, Rudy Steiner stands up for his friend, Tommy Muller, at Hitler Youth when the leader of his Hitler Youth troop unfairly punishes Tommy. You see, Tommy has a hearing problem, and when Franz Dutcher calls Tommy out for not following orders, Rudy tries to explain that he can't hear very well on page 290. He faced Franz Dutcher looking up at him. "He's got a problem, sir." Unfortunately, Franz ignores Rudy and punishes both of them. After completing an excess amount of exercises, Rudy and Tommy sit with Elizabeth to discuss what happened. Tommy blames himself for all the trouble he and Rudy have gone through, but Rudy understands that he can't help it. Tommy was silenced by the friends, and so was the rest of his troop, except for Rudy. Rudy was the only person to stand up for Tommy and explain why he couldn't follow orders correctly, and in doing so, realized his voice was important. In The Rabbit Proof Fence, while the 3 girls are traveling along the fence, they encounter a white fence worker. The worker knows the situation the girls are in, and instead of tipping the police, he gives them bread and tells them a shortcut. He stands up against the police by not notifying them of his contact with the girls, and in doing so realized that his voice was important and he could help the girls. Realizing the power of our voice isn't a hard task, because watching or listening to the hardships of silent people helps us understand how important our voice is. In the book Thief, Lisa Huberman talks to the Jew hiding in their basement, Max. When she talks to him, she slowly understands his position and the power of her words, and eventually the power of her voice. Even though she is silent, she is inspired by the books that Max writes for her, such as The Standover Man and The Word Shaker. The film that I present is based off a true story. 3 young girls are kidnapped again and silenced and try to find their way home. The movie involves many silenced characters, and the viewers get to see what it's like for them. Because we are able to watch the movie and learn off from it, we now know it doesn't feel good to be silenced. It actually kind of sucks. And that silencing people is never a good thing. We don't have to become silent ourselves to understand. We just have to watch, listen, and read the stories of people who have been silenced. So, in conclusion, I don't agree with Marla's statement, we realize the importance of our voice when we are silenced, because I believe that the importance of our voice can be realized even when we interact with unsilencement. Because I believe that the importance of our voice can be realized when we interact with the silenced members of society. I believe that scenarios in which unsilenced people help silenced people are a great example of how we can understand the importance of our voice, even when we are not silenced. When we stand up for silenced people, we can also learn the importance of our voice, and simply just watching and listening to people can help us learn the value of our voice. Thanks for spending your time watching. See you later.